2018's rainfall was almost record-breaking, and a lot of structures were damaged in the process. Kentucky farmers in particular faced plenty of adversity thanks to the recent weather. Wbontv talked to Madison County Agricultural and Natural Resource Agent Brandon Sears to get a professional opinion on this year's livestock progression.
Whether you're looking for a mower to take care of your personal yard or wanting the industry's most powerful farm equipment or something in between, Central Equipment has it all. They proudly sell and service quality mowers, tractors, and equipment from John Deere, Cub Cadet, Exmark, Kubota. Still, visit centralequipment.com to learn more.
There's 3 or 4 things, unfortunately, that have kind of come together to really give us some issues. Probably the first thing, as I look back, was, back last year we had a record rainfall. I think 70 inches or maybe a little bit more, which is well above our usual average of 45 or something like that. And so because we had so much rain, a lot of farmers were not able to get the hay that they had up into bales to store to feed out through the winter, of course. So we actually grew a lot of hay in the county, but in talking to several farmers, a lot of hay got cut and it was windrowed and ready to bale, but it got rained on so many times that they had to actually just let it lay in the field or ted it back out, spread it, and just let it decompose. And so the hay situation started there with the shortage. And then the hay that actually got cut and baled was cut so late in the year that the quality was lower than usual. So that was a problem for us. We had a shortage of it, but then what we had, the nutritional content was quite low. There's a couple other things too that come to mind. If you remember, our winter hasn't been extremely cold, I would say. We had some cold spells, but they were fairly short-lived. In fact, if we could go back and made the temperatures be colder for a longer period of time and frozen the ground and frozen a lot of this mud, we'd be much better off. But because we never really got down to temperatures where our ground was consistently frozen, we had a lot of mud challenges. But if you remember, we had a lot of heavy rain where we were 40 to 50 degrees, and then it went straight to a flash freeze that night. So a front came through and it would drop down to 25 or 20 degrees that night. And so with our cattle and some other livestock, as they get wet, out in pastures and on farms, their hair coat gets wet, it gets matted down. And then when you have that cold blast of air come in, that really draws heat away from their body and really can cause some temperature stress. And so that was a challenge that we had, that's somewhat unusual to have it that many times. Unfortunately, the death rate has increased quite a lot. Last year, talking with our solid waste folks, we removed somewhere around 1,700 animals through their dead animal removal program. The majority of those were cattle of some type. Not all were cattle, but to this point this year, they've already removed over 600 animals.
What's the norm?
Been to this point roughly half of that.
Have you seen anything like this?
I've not seen anything this bad in my 12 years here. There are periods every year when we have a lot of mud and some challenges, but nothing like this, nothing that started this early.
Sears goes on to state that this year's weather will be a particular challenge for Kentucky farmers who are already suffering from a lack of resources. For more stories like these, be sure to follow WBONTV on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Austin Hanks.